It's previews time now on Crosshairs, and the first game we're going to look at this week is Crysis 2. It used to be, well, Crysis used to be a PC exclusive, but now it's coming to the Xbox 360 and PS3, and it is the reason why I didn't grace you with my presence last week, because I was actually away in New York.
Also the reason
at the game.
This last week's episode was better.
Well, yeah, it's subjective. Like, you know, I would say the minority of people thought it was a better show.
No. The majority thought it was better.
Because I got a lot of personal emails about people missing me.
Yeah.
Mainly from you. Just emailing yourself from various Hotmail addresses.
Real strain after on the keyboard writing letters to myself. But yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk the game.
In New York,
don't fight over me, guys.
No,
just ask me questions. It's cool.
I just want to get on with it, you know. But in New York, apart from the Statue of Liberty and stuff, what did you see? About the game. Tell us about the game.
I went on the Staten Island Ferry. It was quite cool. Times Square. No, okay. So the big reveal, I guess, for Crysis 2 was held in New York, because the game is actually set in New York. So obviously it's a sequel to the first Crysis. So instead of an actual physical jungle like the first one was set in, they've moved it into an urban jungle, which is New York. And there is this whole, I guess, alien invasion story coming on from the first one, but there's also a mysterious third army faction that you need to deal with.
The Illuminati?
It's probably the Illuminati, but they haven't actually spilt those beans yet.
Yeah.
But essentially what we saw was, you know, a series of tech demos basically demonstrating the CryEngine 3, which is what they're using for Crysis 2, and most of the stuff they showed was running on the Xbox 360, and it was looking pretty sweet. We also got to see a smidgen of gameplay. So what they showed was I guess the verticality of the game now. So I guess the first Crysis was all about, you know, it was a bit of a sandbox game. You could approach anything, you know, in any way you wanted. But in New York, they've added the element of height to that, so you can use, you know, buildings to try and sneak up on people or try and get around.
It's an urban jungle.
It is an urban jungle, exactly. Because I've never heard that before. We should really, you know, have that phrase just for ourselves.
So obviously, the original Crysis is still an incredibly looking game, and some people still use it as a benchmark. How does Crysis 2 look?
Well, as I said, they were showing off the 360 version of this, and it looked spectacular, to be quite honest. Like, and it is obviously still very early days for Crysis in its development, Crysis 2 in its development, but it was still looking pretty sweet. You know, the Xbox 360 was managing to push out a lot of particles out. There was a lot of detail in the world, like really good sort of volumetric smoke happening. So it was looking really impressive. I'd also like to one day see the PC version, which the Crytek guys say, you know, that will be the version which will look the best. Who knows what sort of system specs you're going to need for that, though.
You have to go into the future, buy a PC, and then bring it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Without changing anything.
In the future.
Yeah.
I don't think time ripples go backwards, but I'm not a scientician or anything. Yeah.
Okay, so there seems to be more of an emphasis on story this time around, and I think you mentioned award-winning story writer.
Yeah, okay, so the head of Crytek, a guy named Chivat Yerli, which we actually I interviewed, and you would have seen the interview I did on Today on the Spot last week. We're talking to Chivat Yerli, and basically he was of the opinion that yes, Crysis 1 looked great and it pushed the boundaries in terms of graphics, but it was kind of disappointed in the storyline aspect of it, so they really wanted to beef that up in this one. So that's why they brought on Richard Morgan. He's a bit of a, I guess, a cyberpunk dystopian future type of writer. So obviously, you know, he's very well versed in sci-fi. So they brought him on board essentially to pen Crysis 2.
So he's a writer. He's a novelist.
Yeah, he's an actual novelist. He's won prizes of some description, which I can't remember off the top. I'm pretty sure, like Nobel Peace Prize or something.
Yes, that's very relevant.
Kindergarten awards.
Yes.
Yeah, kindergarten awards. Yeah,
story writing.
He's won a lot of stuff, but not for his writing. But no, he has actually won a lot of stuff for his writing. And I was actually lucky enough to catch up with Richard Morgan while I was at the New York event for Crysis 2, and here's what he had to say about crafting the story for Crysis 2.